In this video, we're going to talk about how to strike your irons pure every time out of the center of the club face so you can hit more greens, make more birdies, have more fun.
That sounds like fun.
Shaun Webb here with my good buddy Mike Granado, Athletic Motion Golf. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click the big subscribe button. We're giving away free swag every week for the best comment, but you have to be a subscriber to win.
That's right. All right, Shaun, what's the video about?
So today's video is how to strike your irons pure every time.
Every time. So one of the common characteristics that we see with great ball strikers is coming into the ball with their iron swings. They have the forward shaft lean, right? So that's the hands in front of the club head that we all covet iron shots. They're controlling the dynamic loft, right? So that's going to run up the compression. So we don't want to add a ton of loft with an iron. But they're doing that by doing something really significant in the golf swing.
Absolutely. You know, and we brought something out here to show this, but we want to talk about, we think the one major key on the downswing that helps you do this is pressure and weight moving into the lead side. Right.
And we're going to use our buddy Ted Sheftick's pressure board, and it's just a board with a cleat under it that's going to get a little seesaw here effect. And Shaun, when he takes his setup, I like to start with this board either balanced or a little bit on his front foot.
Exactly.
And as he goes back, so there's going to be a shift. He didn't move his body a ton to shift that, but the club, everything kind of aids in doing that, so it goes back. Now here's the key. On the downswing, before the club really gets going, he's already compressed this side of the board, so it's already back down on the ground. Now he's moved his body mass. Again, we'll go back to the backswing, Shaun, and I'll be kind of representing your spine. I'll go ahead and shift right there. So it moved forward, his whole body, not just a lower body hip shove.
That would be
none of that. Yeah, that's no good for anybody. There, forward, compress this side of the board. Now he's got himself in position to get forward shaft lean, control the dynamic loft and all that. Now, without that move, what tends to happen to all those cool things that we wanted to impact?
So, yeah, so we see a couple things. We see a major body mass shift on the backswing. And Mike talks about the timing that you have to make a downswing is a quarter of a second, basically. Right, the whole downswing. So they've moved off the ball so much that when they start down, there's basically no pressure under the lead foot. That moves the low point of this arc of this golf club so far back that they have to scoop at it just to make contact.
Right. Once the club's moving, you're not stopping and it's not waiting, right? So we've got to almost get the body in front of the club movements so that doesn't happen.
Absolutely. So that look again is major shift on the backswing, a turn, because a lot of the common golf instruction now is just get to the top of the swing and start turning your body. No good player in the history of the game has done that. So if you're guilty of trying to do that, I would start feeling like from the top of the swing, you have a shift into your lead side. And when you do it, you're going to see your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your foot basically line up by the time your left arm gets parallel here.
Right, it's almost like you're backing into the target.
Exactly. So here, shift early, line up the joints here on the downswing, and now you're set just to deliver the club. You don't want to be making a lot of shifting motion as this club gets down to the bottom. Mike talks about it all the time.
Nor do you keep coming, so let's do that again. So you don't shift forward and then keep pulling yourself forward because you're going to get really off balance, you're going to get slidey, the left knee's going to get really soft and saggy.
So we want most of the shifting done right here, right, Mike?
Yep. And
now I can rotate and deliver
extend,
the club.
Yep, all those cool things that impact. It's something that we see pretty much without exception when we're talking about great iron swings or great iron shots. There is a lateral shift, a pressure shift onto that front side very early in the golf swing that allows all of these cool impact dynamics to show up. Without them, we just don't see those impact dynamics.
Absolutely, and a couple other ways, you know, we'd like to talk about maybe the pitfalls that you may see happen. The first one would be this big body mass shift off the ball. The other one could be kind of excessively leaning forward to the target on the backswing.
So your head is shifted out in front, all of that stuff.
Pressure on the left at the top, I mean, it's almost like a teeter-totter effect. When you start pulling on this golf club, you're going to start going backwards again. So there's a flow to this weight shift. It's right. As the club gets into the top here, there's a shift. As the club goes over my head, I'm also letting the weight shift across, and then I deliver the club into the ball. And when you do that, down at the bottom here, this is another key aspect of this. As you're loaded here, kind of locked and loaded, your body is basically bent forward, right? Almost like you were at a dress. Your upper body's bent toward the ground. As you start releasing the club down toward the ground, if you kept your body in that position, you would actually chunk the ball.
Right.
So what the great ball strikers do, instead of chunking the ball, they make that same release, but they start tucking their pelvis or hips under them, straightening out the left side of the body. It's almost like it creates a long flat spot here at the bottom. So you've got the club banging into the ground, but as I start standing up, you can see that club kind of drag on the ground.
That's exactly right.
And that's the flat spot you're hearing about. That's when you have the shaft forward, or the shaft angled forward with a very kind of level angle of attack or a shallow angle of attack. You add those two together, that's when you start getting maximum compression of the ball.
And you can't do that from the backside.
You cannot. On the backside, you're either gonna, one or two things are gonna happen. You're either gonna drive the club in the ground, or you're gonna pull your arms in, and that's what causes a chicken wing.
Chicken wing, fats and thins from the same move.
Slices, face opening. So if you've been guilty of just working on the chicken wing, you need to be more focused on getting the club here in a good spot, right? Extending the body, and then your arms, you won't have to feel like you do this. When your body extends, that's what makes the arms stretch out and gives you that tour post-impact position.
That's right.
So again, once you get to the top, I want you to feel this shift here. You can even, on video, if you have an iPhone, use your iPhone to get some feedback. Film yourself from face on. If you're here on the downswing and your lead shoulder is behind your belt buckle, basically, but you look like your weight is forward, yeah, you move the weight forward, but your upper body mass is so far back.
There's a lot of mass, right? When this shoulder pops up early,
absolutely,
you're shifting a lot of mass behind the ball, and you're going to lose all those cool things at impact.
Yeah, so that's why we like to talk about, as you shift, you want to keep this left shoulder down, almost compress it a little bit towards the left quad, right? If you do that, now you're in a position where you can start extending the body, releasing the club, making the flat spot, and that's how you strike your irons pure.
A really cool way to do this. So if you want a drill to help you with this, and we've got a lot of drills on this specifically on our website, in the all access website, athleticmotiongolf.com. Let's give them something today that they can start incorporating. So let's have you go start it set up. And I'm going to do, this is what I do a lot in lessons. I'll put the club kind of right here at his shoulder. So let's go to the top. Now I want you to feel your left shoulder go under and around this. There we go. That forces him, for him to move his shoulder that way, which we see all the great ball strikers do, that's going to force him to shift forward. So that kind of happens automatically. It's going to start the shoulders opening. It's going to get the hips out of the way.
And I'm still not pop this shoulder.
That's exactly right. So let's show what a shoulder pop-up looks like.
Most of the time I see an excessive left shoulder move away from that line. And then as they start down, they start to crank the body without any shift. And now they're in such a bad spot, they have to flip, scoop the club, the body stays closed, and these are the guys that come to me and say, I shot 74 yesterday, but then, 2 days ago I shot 102.
Let's show them face on here what that looks like.
They have no club face control.
I'm sorry, down the line.
This way.
Face the target, I'm sorry. I'll get it right in a second.
Ah, got it, okay.
All right, so I got it right here at his shoulder. It's gonna go down, there we go. And you can see he's really on that front foot. He's not excessively on it. He's not shifted past it or slid past it. He's in a really good spot, hands in front of his thigh, to just complete the downswing.
Stretch the body out, extend the body.
Crush the ball. It's a great way to, compression eludes a lot of golfers. Because the body's just not there to support it. If you do this move, your body's gonna be there to support compression. You're gonna feel what brings people back to this game time after time, and you're gonna have a lot of fun hitting better iron shots.